For all of you who listen to MacEast Second Floor Studios presents Submersion and own an Android device, do me a favor. Go to the Google Play Store and download the Podcast Republic app. It's a fantastic app that allows you to get all of your favorite podcasts directly on your Android device. I use the app and I love it. I can search for the podcasts I want to listen to, select them as favorites, and have them all just a click away. Make sure to set MacEast Second Floor Studios as a favorite so you don't miss any of our new episodes. Again, the app is the Podcast Republic app, available on Android devices.
Episode 49.
Woo! And it is a movie.
It's something, for sure.
Sure is. There are three of us on tonight. You
Yes.
got myself, Jamie, and Brom. And it is Polar Vortex
That's true.
2019.
Yep.
We're looking at breaking some records where we live.
Yep.
Talking about negative 60 wind chill.
Yeah, I drove over here a negative 48 wind chill.
Yay!
It was a nightmare. It looks like a nightmare
Yowzers.
escape outside. Yeah.
I thought negative 30 was going to be rough.
Nope.
Speaking of
we're just doing 60s and stuff.
speaking of Polar, I watched the new release on Netflix, Polar, last night.
I saw the trailer for that. It looked pretty silly.
It
That's what I would say.
definitely is over the top. It's kind of got some John Wick mixed with Deadpool, mixed with Kingsman, mixed with every Quentin Tarantino movie ever. It's getting horrible reviews, but I watched it before hearing anything about it, and I enjoyed it. I had fun watching it.
Yeah, I thought from the trailer that it looked, just to be honest with you, it looked terrible. So I'm not totally surprised that the reviews aren't good, because I thought it looked bad. But I could see it being fun still. I mean, I have fun watching bad films all the time.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a cinematic masterpiece or anything like
It's
that.
not going to win an Oscar.
No.
Let's say that.
I told my coworker about it today. I was like, because he's a John Wick fan. I'm like, there's this new one on Netflix called Polar. I'm telling him all about it. You know, like it's got Mad Mikkelsen. He's pretty cool. Vanessa Hudgens, Robert Dreyfuss shows up in it. He's like, and he goes to look it up, and the very first hit on Google is Netflix releases potentially the worst original film of all time.
Very nice.
Dang, yeah, I had kind of high hopes because, like you mentioned, John Wick. I love that movie. I love the second one. I'm really looking forward to the third one.
Hey,
And I thought this looked a lot like it.
Go in. Don't let it jade your interpretation on it. Go in and watch it.
You literally just told me
might
it's
like it.
potentially
I enjoyed
one
it.
of the worst movies that Netflix has made.
Yeah, and I think a big question that Kyle is asking is does a dog get killed in it? Because that's actually that's the only reason he likes John Wick, I think, right?
Do you want me to answer that?
Is it actually is it a yes?
That is a yes.
Wow. So you will love
my
it
word.
because the dog
Yep.
gets killed in it.
There we go. Great.
Perfect.
It's one of the very first scenes in the movie.
Bob Barker would love it.
Wait, what? Remember? Anyways.
Don't worry. All right. So, anyways, we know that you guys have questions for us, our listeners. Don't forget, you can always hit us up at MacEast Second Floor Studios at gmail.com.
It's the first time we plugged that in forever. We really would love some questions that we have to answer.
Yes.
Send us an email. Talk shit about us. We don't care.
Anything. Say
Just
anything.
something.
Ask us to say something offensive on air. We'll do it.
Just acknowledge
Yeah,
we
we
exist.
don't even care.
Right.
I want to
Yes,
give a big
that's all we need.
shout out and thank you to Podcast Junkie, who gave us a glowing review. That was awesome.
Oh,
to
that's
read.
true.
Said we were one of the best podcasts he's ever listened to, and he's binge listened to all 48 episodes now. So
Hey, you got to be we got to be humble. We're just a humble podcast crew over here.
Oh,
in
I
our
completely
submersible.
disagree with them. I think we're complete shite, but
We're garbage. We are a garbage podcast. I'm not sure why anyone listens to us.
But thank you.
Yes.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
We do appreciate it.
Yeah.
And on that note,
dive.
what began as an innocent conversation among friends would soon spiral out of control and later be referred to by future generations as the eighth wonder of the modern world. MacEast Second Floor Studios takes you on the journey of your lifetime as your captains, Alex the Mustard Man, the artist formerly known as Brom, Jamie the Brain, Kyle El Capitan, and Zach the Backbone present Submersion. we continue into the fourth week,
Fourth, yep.
of 2018 in review with a film from April of 2018.
Yeah, and predictably, as we get to what is actually our fifth 2018 submarine film that we were watching, this is more accurately, I guess, a submersible film, but...
Most of them, they have been.
Right. Well, no.
The Meg. I guess, no, we've had an even split so far.
Yeah, because the Meg had... No, never mind. Meg was just submersible. Yeah, never mind.
Meg.
Sorry, I'm an idiot. But, we're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel. Spoiler alert for maybe our scores. I don't know. You guys may have loved it, but... we're kind of at the bottom of the 2018 set of submarine films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, yeah.
And it's rough.
So, Brom, what did we watch?
We watched a film starring James McAvoy, Split.
Almost.
I wish.
You're right there.
Just
very
kidding.
Good.
It actually also had Alicia Vikander. We watched Tomb Raider.
Very, very nice. You pulled Alicia Vikander film out of there.
Yeah.
Good. That was what wouldn't even be the one I thought of, I guess.
What would have been Ex Machina?
Exactly. That's
or The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Sure. Or
everybody knows all these films.
Or the one where what's his name? Just is like a woman or something, right?
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Right. Perfect. Yes. When she was in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Obviously.
Well, we watched potentially their best cinematic masterpiece to date. We watched Submergence.
Yeah.
And
I don't
with
know
that
what
title,
Brom's on, but...
Yeah, with that title, you would think you'd have high hopes.
You would.
Submergence.
I really like James McAvoy. He's been great. He's in one of my favorite modern movies. I really like Atomic Blonde. I thought that movie was great.
Cool.
Super fun movie.
I didn't even know he was in it. Good. I haven't seen it, so.
Really?
Yeah, no. Now I'll have to watch it. I love James McAvoy.
Yeah. And what can you say, man?
Yeah.
What can you say?
Do you have any director or anything like that, or should we just get right into it?
Yes, Wim Wenders.
Right, yeah. He's mostly a documentary guy, it seems like. He's got nominated for Oscar for Best Documentary 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, he's world famous. He's very well known. It's not surprising that 2 top actors would maybe see a script and say, okay, this guy's just directing it and be interested in doing that film.
Right.
Yeah, he's very well known.
That's what they talk about on the behind the scenes. As soon as they saw he was directing, everybody wanted a piece of it.
He doesn't do narrative very often, but he's, I think he even was nominated for Palme d'Or, stuff like that. He's just like one of those artistic directors that people would want to work with.
Right. And that's what everybody pretty much said. So like we mentioned, James McAvoy, he plays James Moore. I like that move.
Oh, good.
If I was in movies, I'd always make my name Kyle. I think it'd be because I would naturally respond to it.
I just wrote in my notes, I just called him James McAvoy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Pretty much me too.
Yeah.
How do you say her last name? Alicia. I thought it was Vikander.
Vikander.
But Vikander. I don't know. She plays Danielle Flinders.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Selin Jones as Thumbs. And right?
I don't know.
And Alexander Siddig as Dr. Shahid.
Cool.
You don't really, basically, dude, you got 2. You only got 2 people, really.
It's the 2 people.
Some people might know Dr. Shadid, Alexander Siddig from Game of Thrones. He played Dorian Martell or whatever his name is.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
The king or Lord of the South region.
Nice.
Lord of the South.
Yeah.
All right.
Shall we get into it?
I can't imagine it's going to take that long.
Well, I have 2 pages of notes, so let's do it.
Yeah.
Usually I just use the Wikipedia page and copy that down so I don't have to do any work. This time they didn't have a Wikipedia page, or they had a very small Wikipedia page, so I had to write my own notes for it, unfortunately. Yeah. Unfortunate for everyone involved in this, because this is going to be a while. Buckle up.
Yeah, right.
Ready to go?
2 pages.
All right, so we open with Alicia Vikander. She's underwater. We're already there? Oh my God, are we going to be in a submersible now? But she's in kind of like a suit. And you're like, what?
Is she on the moon?
Is she on a robot suit? What is this? Yeah. But then it turns out it's just like testing it out. Like she's kind of in just like a warehouse. And she gets called over and it's like, yo, they're going to be going through the plan for the research.
Why'd they build the set? I thought they were on the set of a movie.
It seemed like
Me
it was,
too.
but Yeah, it seemed a little bit unnecessarily futuristic. Like, why would they necessarily have it all set up that way?
Yeah.
But whatever. So
And
they head over to
that was a derpy looking dive suit, if I must say.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna laugh if they had pulled it out at the end of the film to be like, now I gotta get into this suit, and I'd be like, wait, I didn't look like it was gonna work. And so they head over to the research boat, and they're kind of letting them know what the plan is. And the plan is basically like they're the stars, right? They're going last. They're saving them best for last, heading up to dive in the Greenland Sea up near Iceland.
Yes.
All the way down. And she should be super excited about this because she's a star. It's going to be, they say multiple times, it's going to be a nature paper, potentially like Nobel Prize level type stuff going on here. Having to do with, we'll find out later, potentially origins of life kind of stuff and the implications of origins of life on a lot of the problems on Earth and stuff like that.
Yes.
So, but she's not happy at all. In fact,
No.
And her colleague is like, yo, girl, what's up? And she's
That's
like,
Thumbs.
yeah,
I don't
Thumbs.
even think they told you his name ever.
Yeah. She's like, it's a nature paper for sure. And you're being Mopey McMoperson. And you got to turn that frowny upside downy. And she's like, but can't we just be human for a moment? Can't we just be lonely? And he's like, no. And he's like, girl, I know you miss him, but he probably just doesn't have any service because he lives in Africa, in Nairobi.
Yeah.
And probably like shampooing his hair or something like that. He's just busy. And
Doing something.
but secretly, he's like, he's not calling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, he's like, you're right. I should gotta get my head in the game.
Yes. And then it flashes back.
Yeah, we go backwards. Well, technically, we flash sideways for a second just to see James McAvoy get a peanut from his cell in Somalia that he's trapped in. And you're like, wait, what? What movie is this?
Yes. Yeah. All right. I did forget about that.
Yeah.
We just see an arm sticking out of a, like a mud style building.
Yeah.
And somebody gives him a peanut. And you look inside, and there's McAvoy. Looks like someone kicked the living shit out of
looks
him.
like garbage.
Yeah. And, well, he's still ripped, you know?
He is. He's got a great six-pack at this point.
Yeah. He is looking a little greasy because he's sweaty.
Yeah, he hasn't showered in a while, which is good for the viewer, I guess. And so then they flash back, and it's basically 3 weeks earlier, Christmas. And that's what I said online. I'm not actually sure if it was Christmas or not. That's what I said.
Dude, I don't know. They showed him at an art gallery first.
And yeah, well, that's true. Never mind. It flashes back to the art gallery first.
Yes.
Right? Yeah,
and so he's kind of walking around, and out of nowhere, he's talking through an earpiece to these guys, you know, doing a real secret mission like, oh, let's sit back to back and look like we're just talking to ourselves.
Basically James Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. And he's like,
he's not the best version of James Bond.
Well, no, it doesn't work out great for him because he's like, yo, I know where the bombs are and I'm going to go get them. And they're like, you shouldn't. And he's like, but I'm gonna. And they're like, well, if you're gonna, we're going to send you some high profile targets to like maybe take out if you can. And he's like, okay.
All right. No big deal.
Yeah.
Guess what? It is a big deal.
It's a huge deal, and you'll see why. But first, he's like, yo, I got to take a vacay, which seems a little bit strange. He's like, there's bombs going all over Europe. I'm going to take a vacation real quick. It's like, wait, you just talked about bombs that you wanted to disarm. Shouldn't you do that first? I was like, no, I got to really relax, get my head straight.
Yeah. And you cut over to some like giant mansion.
Beautiful place. I actually looked, I was
gorgeous.
trying to figure out if it was a real place. I couldn't find out.
Oh,
really.
Man. It would be great to stay there.
It would be. I would have loved to do that.
I can't imagine they would have built that as a set. I'm sure it's...
No, I think it might be cobbled together from a difference. It's like, I think that bar may be separate from the whatever may be separate from the
get
beach
what you're
kind of
saying.
stuff. Yeah.
Oh.
So anyways, at the same time, Alicia Vikander, 3 weeks before she's going to be going up to, do her research, is also there kind of getting some relaxation in before this really intense like research trip. She's a professor and, she probably, needs that rest and relaxation before
a
big excursion like that.
Little McAvoy before this.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, she's there definitely prowling, looking for dick, if you know what I mean. Sorry.
Whoa.
Sorry, you may have to bleep that. Sorry about that, guys. So, but I mean, it's accurate. And so
yes, it is.
And so anyways, they're kind of like two ships passing in the ocean at first, right? They're kind of like he's getting a drink from the bar, she's getting a drink from the bar. Then he's running like real like buff along the beach.
Yeah.
Like crushing some miles. And she's like, hey, what's up? And he's like,
Bet.
whoa, did you just say something to me? And she's like, yeah, I did. And
He's like, no way. No, you did not. You did not just say hey to me.
He's like, lunch. And she's like, fuck yeah. And then
He had like
lunch
a
at
whole
1:30.
He had a whole beach to run along, and he ran like 1 foot away from her. And
right next to
that
her.
would have
Yeah,
scared
there's no
the
way.
shit out of me.
Yeah, I would have been so far away from her if I was running along that beach. But you know, it works. You gotta give it to him. His method works.
Yeah,
because
He's
next
got
thing
game.
you know,
He's got game.
he's creeping on into her room. First, he's like, "Is that your room?" And she's like, yeah," which is already a hint because like he's a creepy person. So like you would be like, "No, this is my friend's room or something. Get out of here."
yeah.
But no, she's like, "Yes, my room." And then he comes in there and is like, "Can you turn this music down? Like you're blasting classical music like an asshole." And she's like, "Okay." And she turns it down. He's like, "Well, what professor do you think I am?" And he's like, "I literally, there's no possible way to guess this." Like he goes through all these guesses, and she's like, "Oh, I'm a biomathematician." And at first, I was like, "I don't even know what that is, like a biomathematician." Right. But then when she explained it, I think I got a general understanding of what was going on.
She applies mathematics to the ocean depths.
Right. And really, it's about the origin of life. So similar to something that actually came up on a podcast a long time ago, is she studies life around thermal vents at the bottom of the ocean. So the very, very bottom depth of the ocean, there'll be these thermal vents where there's actually heat and chemical reactions and stuff going on.
Right.
With the idea being that potentially those are areas where you'd see life bloom anew because life has a trouble.
Finds a way.
Well, sure. So this is just like Jurassic Park.
Oh, yes! That's why it's so good.
But but it came up before because there was news about potentially sending something to Ios or something, one of the Jupiter moons, because it has thermal vents under its ice. And
I'm glad you clarified that because I was like, I don't know where that is.
And I said, oh, that's actually a potential place like where the origin of life could be, and that's where we might find alien species. And I think that's a great spot.
Alex brought that up.
Yes, it was part of news. And so here it actually is doing. And so I kind of started to get to understand, okay, she probably does some kind of genetic analysis to say that for sure, by the math, this is not related to Earth, the life on Earth, that it was a independent blooming of life. And thus, this is how life begins. And thus, this is how life would begin elsewhere. And thus, this is how life could begin anew, I guess, if life died off on Earth because of global warming or some shit or something. I don't know. So I was like, okay, now I get it. Don't worry about it.
And they're getting a little flirty at lunch. She's talking about, like the layers of the ocean, and all of a sudden, you know what word she said?
What?
Submersion.
Yeah, she did.
She's like, ooh.
She also used the word Hades, like hell.
Yes, she did. And they're talking about like the infinite blackness that is when you're down in a submersible.
Right.
And how there's nothing.
And he's like, do you know what that's like? It's like being in the infinite darkness of a Somali jail. And she's like, wait, what? And he's like, I make water in Kenya. And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
Sure. So anyways, they're like very different, but also like totally vibing, and like their differences are what makes them like attracted to each other, I think.
But he's vibing in a weird way. Because when they're talking about some of the stuff, like the infinite blackness, he's like, man, what if that submersible collapses in on itself?
Right.
And what's going to be your last thought? Or whatever. Yeah. You're like, geez, this is taking a dark turn.
He's very philosophical. You wouldn't, Kyle, you wouldn't understand.
I wouldn't. Look at me.
Yeah, you wouldn't understand.
I'm only drinking a red ale.
What Alicia sees in him.
You're an uncultured swine, Kyle.
Yeah. They were drinking, I think, Japanese whiskey at one point, or scotch.
They were.
Japanese scotch and wine, a lot of the other
And
times.
he immediately called out the bartender. He's like, you used to play rugby, right?
Yeah. It's like, konnichiwa, you played rugby. I'm like, I hate this guy. You fucking suck.
And so anyways
he heads back to the room.
They walked down the beach. They walked down the beach.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
She strips down, starts swimming.
In her underwear. She's like, I just want to swim. And he's like, wait, what? And then gives her his coat. And then they walk back up to the room, and she's like, she leaves the door open. It's basically like, come in if you want. And he's like, yeah. And then they kiss a whole bunch. Like, they kiss like a lot.
There's like a lot of weird, aggressive grabbing.
Oh, she does some power moves, man. She gets like behind him.
Yeah. She is in control of that situation for sure. And he's kind of digging it.
Yeah.
I'd be all about it.
Yeah.
And then wham, back to present time.
Yeah.
And things are not going so great.
Not super great for our boy McAvoy, or really Hirsch, although her troubles are a little less serious, I guess.
A lot less.
Yeah. Because she's kind of just like, why isn't he calling? It's like he's in a Somali jail.
He's in a Somali prison.
So it's
By like
stuff.
leaders of Al Qaeda or something.
Yeah,
right?
not to kind of denigrate the problems that she's seeing, like that she really found love, and losing that is a terrible thing for someone. But he's in a Somali jail because he arrives in an airplane and immediately gets captured. It's not even like he does some spy shit for a second. He's just like in a jail immediately.
I know. Dude, we don't even see.
Yeah, he's like, I want to see this person. And they're like, you want to see that person? You want to see the inside of this jail? And then they send him like rotten food. Like that's that.
It was terrible. Rough for him.
He's a terrible spy.
He's the worst.
Yeah. He wasn't even basically like when he was saying like, I'm not a spy. I'm like, I work with water. Like, yeah, you aren't a spy. You were terrible at it.
It'd be like if I went over there.
The only good thing he did was he had his like tooth that he took out, and he had like a home.
Oh, he did have a fake tooth.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure if it was a cyanide pill or what it was.
It wasn't a cyanide pill.
It was a beacon.
It was a beacon. So it was set to green, it looked like at first, to say like, I'm okay, don't like do anything yet.
Yeah. And then, things are getting a little bad.
Is he changed it to red, but he didn't do that at first. He changed it to green and said, okay, everything's good.
Shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But then we also see that Vikander, like you said, she's feeling sad.
Real sad.
But don't worry, Thumbs and her seem to be a little chummy.
What? That's literally not. They have a completely professional relationship. I'm not sure why you would slander Thumbs like this.
They're taking selfies, man.
Yeah, because they're friends and they have a perfectly good professional relationship.
Have you ever taken a selfie?
No, because I'm not friends with you, and I don't have a good professional relationship with you.
All right, whatever.
Yeah. So she's pretty sad. Thinks he's maybe just a player because like that's the thing. You get a little sense like, especially I don't know. Should we go back and just say what happened at the end of their trip and thing, or should we slip back and forth?
No, man. We got to do it like the movie,
Okay, because like she keeps on being like, oh man, like he's not calling, and she probably thinks he's like a player, or maybe like he crushes a lot or whatever, like something like that.
Yeah,
and the guy, like literally that good professional relationship she has with Thumbs is kind of getting like a little annoyed. It's like, you got to get your head in the game because guess what? We got a nature paper on the line.
And I love you.
No, that's not at all. They have nothing untoward happened between Thumbs and her. Well, eventually maybe. But later outside in the sequel or whatever. But
Submergence 2, all Thumbs.
Oh, good. I like that one.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Now I'm in. Yes. Yeah. Her and Thumbs are banging for sure.
Ooh, here we go.
Yes.
So it flashes back to the good old times before everyone's pissed off.
They're walking. They're swimming.
They are?
Yeah. And then they wake up one morning and they're kind of like hanging around the bar and there's like a newspaper. And they're also playing games. They kind of imply that she's like super rich, but they're also like banging the whole time, so everything's like pretty good. Right? They're like naked the whole time, basically.
Pretty much.
And then but then there's like this newspaper that kind of says like bombs going up all over Europe, and he's like, see,
why
this is the world.
This vacation. I couldn't stop this.
I mean, it really is guilt on his part. It seems like because he looks at it, and he's like, oh shit, like I could have maybe stopped that one. Yeah, I probably should go on the actual mission that I set up for myself.
Yeah.
But he kind of like freaks out at her a little bit too. He's like, isn't this the world? It's not everything. It's not like what you think of like in the ocean. Like, isn't it also like power and not just education? Can you educate bombs, bitch? And then he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, oh, I'm sorry. And then he's like crying and shit. And then he's like, I got to go. And he's crying even more. And then he's like, I love you. And she's like, I love you too.
No way, dude.
Yeah,
True love this fast?
I don't know. It's like James Bond. Basically, this whole movie, or half the movie, I guess, is like James Bond on vacation. It's like watching James Bond on vacation, then fall in love, and then be like, oh, wait, I forgot I was James Bond, but also terrible.
But this is not James Bond, because the James Bond we know
would get out of it.
Well, he'd get out of it, but he also would not be tied down to one woman.
No. Yeah.
That guy's an animal.
Right. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Wearing that banana suit.
Wasn't James Bond married?
Yes, to Moneypenny, right?
Really?
He was married at one point.
Oh, no, he was married
his wife
first.
Died.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, his wife.
So maybe
killed.
this is the prequel to James McAvoy becoming the next James Bond.
Oh.
So yeah, so I think this was a
long
prelude,
game.
Or this was an audition, yeah, kind of
audition.
So anyway,
James Bond.
He's totally fucked in his jail in Somalia. he's kept in this hole for a while. Then he's brought out, and he's brought to like the leader, or I'm not even sure he's necessarily even the leader. Like he's just like very high up in that whatever that little village they're in is in Somalia. And the guy's basically like, you're going to accept like Islam or whatever. And McAvoy's just like, I'm just a water guy. Like, for the love of God, let me go. And he's like, nope. You're going to hang out with this doctor for a while, but you're going to be kind of semi-free, and you'll see like the way, and you'll be like happy. So he starts hanging out with this doctor, and the doctor's like real weird a little bit. Like at first he thinks, oh, this doctor's going to help me. I can definitely get this doctor to help me because he's a doctor. He's supposed to help people. And then
not the case.
No, then there's like a stoning of a woman, which is unpleasant and upsetting.
Yeah, they start burying her alive and then
they stone her to death. And then then because like a child tries to intervene, the soldiers shoot the child. And so the doctor is like, I mean, he's upset by it, but he's totally cool with it as well. And then he like helps the child, but probably the child dies. And McAvoy at that moment is just like, oh shit, this guy's not going to help me probably.
Yeah,
probably not.
Things are getting a little rough. Because even at some point he starts talking about how, yes, he has to care for these people, but jihad is life.
Right.
He's like,
so he's like way in. He's not exactly what McAvoy was hoping.
No, not the guy who's going to help you out.
No. So
but also before this, there is a scene before they take McAvoy to the leader and all that, where some of the, I don't know what you call them, terrorists or whatever, they grab him, take him out to the beach, and they're like, you're going to die now.
I can't believe I forgot this part,
Yeah, and they're like, walk out in the ocean. And he starts walking out, and they've got their guns pointed at him. One of them fires just up in the air. They're just doing it to prank him.
Yeah, and he totally
shits his pants.
Yeah, he poops his pants for sure. Like he actually even like very clearly makes it clear like I poop my pants.
He even said I shit myself. And then he has to take his pants off. Mm-hmm. One of the guys gives him his head wrap, and he wears it
because they're real embarrassed. Embarrassed by his nakedness or whatever.
Yeah. Well, he also couldn't have a guy hanging brain walking all the way back to the base.
No, not in Somalia.
No.
Let's be clear. So anyways, he eventually is like hanging with this doctor, and I feel like it must be that the doctor reported back like this guy isn't going to convert. Like it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
And so he's brought back to the main guy, and the guy is basically like, or he's brought back to like make a video or whatever, and he doesn't do what they really want. And then he's, the guy's talking to him like, you're going to do what I want. And he's basically like, no, I'm not going to make these like videos for you. He wants him to be like a recruiter or someone who like they can send videos out being like, I've accepted the way, like blah, 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 or something. And he's like, no, it's not happening. Just send me home. And so he speaks in Arabic to another guy, basically being like, take him out to the mangroves. This is his last chance. And if he doesn't do it, like get rid of him. So he's going to be killed. Unbeknownst to the terrorists, like McAvoy speaks Arabic, so he knows everything that's happening, and he knows that it's like probably pretty dire.
Yes, but all the time while this is going on, we're also flashing sideways to Vikander on her trip, and
she's super frustrated.
She is. There's even a point where she's like inspecting her submersible, and then she has a flashback to the good old days or that weekend, whatever it was, and.
It was actually 6 years. That's how long we spent together. Yeah,
incredible. Mm-hmm. And then we see her listening to classical music again on a treadmill while running and screaming.
Yeah, and so she eventually asked.
Super great.
She eventually asked off the boat, like basically because they're the last dive near Iceland. The idea is, okay, I'm going to hop off at these islands near the UK.
I'll fly to Iceland,
and then I'll fly to Iceland, and then I just need to have good internet connection. Who doesn't, right? And then I also need to figure out where this dude is. It's like totally ghosting me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she heads to the islands, and she gets to contemplate a little bit about life. She's like sitting on some cliffs, and it seems like she settles in like, I got to do this. But like she writes some poetry and some shit, and it's like death. Like it's all very goth. Like she basically becomes goth at this point. And she's like, I deny all men and life, and I only accept death.
She went to Hot Topic. She got the black jeans
for sure.
With the chains, the fishnet armbands, whatever,
She flew to Iceland. She's pretty happy because she could catch some pretty sweet hardcore music there.
Yeah, she should have gone to
hardcore metal for sure. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Probably both of those.
Just doing
all
whatever.
Of them, man. Yeah. So anyways.
All of Northern Europe and that metal.
So she's going to be heading down into the submarine. Everyone's like super psyched for her. Like they are literally cheering her like, this is going to be a nature paper. This is going to be a nature paper. This is going to be a nature paper. It. Yeah, you're getting a nature paper. And McAvoy is on his way to the mangroves. He's like digging some salt for a while. He's like sad by a boat at one point. Then he has to sit in the sun for a while. His life is shit while she's like getting cheered for like her nature paper, probably.
Yeah, and she's having a rough go of it.
Yeah. And so she gets into her yellow submersible finally.
Here we go. Yeah, so
that's,
there we go.
It's more or less like what's it called? Life Aquatic. The final ending scene in our yellow submersible. Finally, we can check this off as, okay, submarine movie.
Yeah, because you guys may have been wondering, we listen to Submersion for submarine movies. Yeah. What are you doing?
And I can tell you, James McAvoy was not on some Somali prison submarine. He was he's on the beach for sure. He's in Somalia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
And so anyways, they start diving in the submersible.
They all three get in. They all pull out their dicks. And
her thumbs.
They're like, wait.
Some rando.
Yeah. And they're like, wait, who's the captain of this?
And no one knows.
Yeah. And then they all put their dick back. But then the guy who's like controlling it, who we've never met before, is like, I'm technically the captain, but whatever.
No way. Come on.
He is. He's steering. He knows all about the submarine. They don't even know anything. They're researchers.
Gosh.
He's that captain. He's the captain for sure.
He is the captain.
Yeah. So
what can you do?
He secretly pulls out his dick to the side. He's like, I'm going to do it.
If you look in one of the second to last scenes,
you can see it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then he's basically sitting there and he hears everything that's going on. It's clear that they're going to be attacking an American base and they're going to be doing suicide bombing.
The submersible?
No. Talking about McAvoy. So jump back to McAvoy.
That would have been a big twist.
That would have been crazy. But McAvoy is overhearing them talk about they're going to be attacking a American military base. It's been pretty clear that his last chance, so what they talked about as his last chance, is to accept being a suicide bomber. That's kind of the thing. And so he's sitting there and he's like, I'm going to die, probably die either way. So he takes out his like false tooth and he sets it to red, basically saying like, here I am, I'm in trouble. Come take some motherfuckers out.
Yeah.
And she's diving at the same time. She's diving, gets all the way to the bottom. As they're diving, it's like, oh, I got a long time. And Thumbs is like, yo, what you been writing in there? And then she reads a super depressing poem. He's like, that was fucking depressing.
Yeah.
And then, see, we're right there. I told you I could use the whole time. Don't worry about it.
I thought we were going to be super short on this one.
No. Because so anyways, helicopter comes, starts blasting the shit out of
dude, hellfire missiles.
He jumps in the water. He clearly is like injured in some way. He yells, "Oh!" in the water.
I think he just did it out of frustration.
Maybe he was just frustrated. And then Alicia Vikander, she's in this little submersible, and after collecting a sample and everything's a success, it loses power.
No way.
So are they both going to die at the same time?
Oh, true love.
But, and you guys, I don't think you guys made it all the way through the film. So you
I made it all the way. Well, I made it all the way.
So then you saw, because McAvoy is killed in this attack, right? And you may disagree. You may say he lived. He lived through that attack. I would say he killed. Because you saw his life force travel from Somalia all the way to the Greenland Sea into that submersible. And it all of a sudden turns back on using his life force. It is inhabited by a ghost, a ghost.
Ooh.
And they rise out of the ocean, shoot into the air, right? Because it's powered by a ghost now, so they can do whatever.
Powered.
And then McAvoy comes out of the ocean, right? Big old robot McAvoy, and starts. They have to battle McAvoy at this point, right?
Oh man,
yeah, it's pretty awesome.
She's very conflicted during this, though.
Right?
Damn, I'm gonna have to finish this movie.
Yeah, I know. It's even it's crazy.
Finally
and then they fly
good.
around. Yep. And then they use actually like her technology had nothing to do with the source of life. It actually was lasers, and they pull out the lasers that she developed, and she shoots down McAvoy with these lasers and then wins the Nobel Prize on the spot.
And who rises to take McAvoy's power and position on the planet?
Godzilla.
Right.
Wow. It was a Japanese kaiju film all along. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then she tries to publish all this in Nature, but Nature actually says, it's not really of interest to our the broader scientific community, so we're going to punt it down to Nature Genetics, which is still a very good journal, but a little disappointing in the end.
Yep.
Yeah. So
there you go.
Yeah. That was the movie.
I wish that was the end of that movie.
Yeah.
Did they die?
So Okay, if you couldn't tell, that was a little fake. But McAvoy, I believe McAvoy died.
I don't know. I don't think he did. Or if he did, they both did.
The only thing that makes me question it is because the submersible at the same time that you think McAvoy is dying, the submersible has kind of died, right?
Yes.
And then there's a moment where they're like basically like, oh, holy shit, like we barely have gotten back onto like our reserve power and we're heading back up. And so I'm thinking like maybe he was rescued at that moment, that it's kind of them both coming back from the dead a little bit.
But then at the end, you begin to see Vikander's face all like enveloped in white.
Yeah, it's because it's the last thing he's seeing.
It's the last, yeah.
He's remembering, it's a memory.
Because they're both
No, it's a memory.
in the afterlife.
It's a memory from France.
France.
They'll always remember France.
France.
Well,
We
anyways.
always got France, kids.
It was a little weird though when she then traveled around with her robot ghost-infested submarine.
Yeah.
And had like kooky adventures for a whole season on television.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Joe Dirt showed up at one point.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Very good movie.
All right. This movie.
Yikes.
That's about all that can be said. So, Brom, just to be clear, you didn't even make it through this, did you?
I fell asleep around the mangrove scene.
All right. So you missed like when it was...
I missed the whole
I guess,
kaiju rising out of the ocean.
Yeah.
Mecha,
Quote, unquote,
Mecha
getting
McAvoy.
better.
McAvoy?
Yeah. Very
McAvoy.
good.
Oh my
McAvoy.
gosh.
That would be clutch.
Yeah, so I missed the ending. It sounds like I made it to the end.
There you go.
Very nice.
You want
But-
to...
You want to score this guy?
Enlighten
Yeah.
me, sure. Well, I thought it was the prequel to James Bond. Then I thought it was the prequel to Godzilla, but alas, it was Submergence, which had very little to do with being submerged underwater. There was I didn't make it to the part where there was actually any submarine action.
That's very good. Yeah.
This is the prequel to your nap.
Yes, it was rough. It felt like a Lars von Trier movie. It was interesting to hear at the top of the podcast you explaining the background of the director. I didn't know anything about him or the movie, and so it's interesting to hear that he has a background in more artistic film and documentary footage and stuff like that. Because it kind of felt that way. I'm not well versed in the whole chick flick love story movies. Like I haven't seen The Notebook or any of those.
Is this a chick flick? I'm not even sure I'd call this a chick flick, but
I don't
I don't
know
know
what
what you
else.
call this.
What
it's not
else?
really an anything flick.
It's a
Is it for
romantic.
anyone?
It's a romance film, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't. I don't know. I guess I didn't know what it wanted to be either. I think there's an interesting story in there. You know, it being captured by the Somali pirates. I feel like there was plenty of room for tension.
Somali
you know,
pirates. Wait, where were the pirates?
or
They were not
whatever.
pirates, man.
Jihadists.
ISIL or whatever the hell they were. And they happen to be in Somalia.
wouldn't be
Somalia is just a
ISIL
rough
either, right?
place, is what we're learning. But I feel like there's room here for a interesting story. This just wasn't it. I think that's all that really needs to be said about it. It was lousy. Didn't enjoy it. Fell asleep on it. Have no intentions of finishing it. Wish it had McAvoy at the end. That would have been super interesting, emerging from the water with laser beams and everything.
It's weird you say you wish it had that because
I wish it did. I wish my version did, but I fell asleep.
Right.
So it could. I'm gonna give it a 1.
All right.
Wow.
All right.
I'm actually shocked by that. I'm shocked.
Is it too high?
Okay. I'll go next.
All right, man. Go for it.
I feel like this isn't. It wasn't really made for this time. I think we've kind of passed this. It reminded me a little bit of when I watched a movie called Babel or like Crash back in the day, where you can appreciate what they were going for, but it's a little heavy-handed and a little bit almost like too artistic for its own good.
Yeah.
And there was a place for that back in like the 2000s, I felt like. And now there's just not so much. And I think in Europe, it's more common to see films like this, but it's a little surprising that it's still it didn't have a theatrical release, but it had a release in the United States, and you can get it. And it was, it's got like 45 reviews in Rotten Tomatoes. So it was big enough film that people knew what it was. So it's a little surprising that it kind of, I don't know. I'm just not sure what the audience is anymore for this kind of film. Who wants this or needs it or
who would you recommend this to?
I have no idea. It just seems so.
I wouldn't recommend it to our listeners. No way.
No way.
But yeah, I like the acting. I thought McAvoy actually did a good job at portraying the type of person it would be. While
you're on that, I will say they did have chemistry together. That I think there was definitely some on-screen chemistry between our two leads.
Yeah, and I think it was beautifully shot. Like if you think about the scenes when she's on that island place, like kind of hanging out in the cliffs, or
when she spray paints the really rare lichens, which we totally didn't even talk about. Yeah, she's like, these are really rare. Let me tag them real quick. Yeah, what?
But yeah, no, there's some beautiful shots there. So I feel like you get a good sense of him being a documentary filmmaker, kind of getting those really striking shots into a film that would be not necessarily have the narrative to drive it. And so it does feel like they kind of lacked a little bit of that narrative drive. There's a lot of critique online also about the imbalance between the two storylines, which you could really feel.
Got pretty McAvoy heavy.
Yeah, it was very McAvoy heavy, and you didn't really get a good balance between the two to make it so that the two stories melded and made them better. It really was like you put the two together and it only made it kind of worse for both. Hers didn't seem as big or important as his, and if you wanted to focus on his, then it kind of was taking away from that narrative a little bit. And it was a very strange way of doing it. They would have needed to make it, I'm not sure, maybe not make her like a professor who was on like a submersible project. There's not so much natural drama in that compared to being taken hostage by Somali jihadists. I'm just going to throw that out there as like a little tip. But yeah, no, in the end, I think there's good things in it. Not good things in terms of just how boring and at times unpleasant the film was, I guess. So I'm going to give it, I was tempted to give it a 4, which is pretty high, right? But I'm going to bring it back to a 3.5. It has artistic value. It has artistic value, right? Am I wrong?
Yes, you're wrong.
Oh, damn it. God damn it.
Did you like Crash and Babel?
I liked Babel. I actually remember when I was in college was the year that Crash won the Oscar.
When I saw those.
And I remember saying to one of my, it was my freshman year, and I remember saying to someone else who lived on my floor, if Crash wins, that's crazy. Because I think that was also Brokeback Mountain year. It's like, if it beats Brokeback Mountain, that's fucking crazy. Because that movie is not, Crash is not very good. And they freaked out at me because Crash was very beloved at the time. People forget this about these films.
I liked Crash. I did not like Babel.
It was very beloved at the time. I actually was the reverse. I thought Babel was a lot better than Crash. But, I think that was maybe because, I don't know. I thought Crash was over dramatic and weird. Babel, I thought at least had some interesting things to say about like immigrant culture and stuff, if I remember correctly.
Why'd you get all quiet?
I don't know. I'm actually not sure it has anything to do with that now. Now that I'm saying it, but I feel like there's a time when someone's trying to like cross from Mexico into the United States, something like that.
Maybe.
Anyways. So anyways, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it has value, good acting, beautiful shots. It just is very boring, and I'm not sure narratively it made a lot of sense to structure it the way that it did and kind of focus on these two storylines.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was.
So you're going to bring it down. You're going to bring the average down.
Again, I'm bringing it down. I am bringing it down.
It's not even going to get 0.69 because that would mean it was good.
This movie is so boring. I was watching
now you're making me feel bad about my 3.5.
It is so boring. Like, I couldn't believe it. My wife came down. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm watching this shitty movie."
You shielded it from her, and you're like, "I'm jerking off." Oh,
I was literally so bored. I started scanning my tax documents into my computer because this could not keep my attention. It was, like I said, I like McAvoy. I really like his acting. I like the stuff he's in. But this, oh my word. What the heck?
Yeah, I think I'm wrong, but I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna stick with it. 3.5. I'm probably wrong.
You do you.
Especially from a submarine perspective, this has really no submarine.
Yeah. You know what, guys? You have swayed me. 2.5.
There you go.
Yeah.
2.5 for Jamie. I mean, like we talked about, the submersible, they didn't bring that story in enough. They could have. Yeah. She's literally on the cusp of.
She should have arrived. She should have arrived at that hotel in the submersible, and then they could have had their love story on the submersible.
Oh, that would have been great. That would have been
a 12-incher, right? Now it's a 12-incher.
Yes.
And then rescue him in Somalia in the submersible.
Ooh, when he swims out in the ocean at the end.
Right, and then he's like, I'm going to die from this explosion, but then he sees a submersible and climbs in.
Yes. None of this happened. It all should have.
Yeah. We're going to rewrite this.
We will. And it's funny. I watched it behind the scenes, and sorry, I can't remember his name. Vim.
Yeah.
He was talking about how he read the book and it just scared the shit out of him.
Oh yeah, I got to read that book.
What? Yeah, no, and I would recommend against. McAvoy was on there and he said, I read the script and I absolutely fell in love with it. Everybody was talking about how they fell in love with this. I'm like, everybody's drinking the Kool-Aid. What is going on here?
I'm surprised Vikander would have said that though, because her character didn't have much to do in the second half of that film.
Dude, this movie. But I did like the exterior shots.
Yeah.
Like we talked about.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff. I mean, like, talk about an advertisement for a hotel. If that was a real hotel.
Oh, you'd be there.
I'd be there.
But ultimately, oh my word, this is probably one of the most boring things I've ever watched. I couldn't wait for it to end. I would rather watch Stinger. I gave that a 1.
No.
I gave it a 0.13.
That is unacceptable.
100%
no
agree.
Way. You never even seen Stinger.
This is a 0.12.
I saw Stinger. You're thinking of Mustard Man.
Oh, you never saw Stinger.
The only movie that I would watch this over would be The Neptune Factor. I think this was better than The Neptune Factor.
It's obviously better than The Neptune Factor.
All right.
I would definitely watch Stinger again over this.
I would. Stinger at least has some kind of...
Stinger is unacceptable. I will never watch that again.
Oh, man. It's better than this.
Flash forward like 3 years from now and we're like, and this cycle is recap. We're redoing some of the ones we've done before. And up first, Stinger. I'm like, God damn it. Yeah. I can't believe I'm watching Stinger again. So at that point, we have 18 hosts. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So let's all talk over each other for the next hour like usual.
That's what we have to do, man.
All right. I'm going to jump into trivia. Everyone okay with that?
Yes. Trivia?
Now that I'm a reject.
A 0.12.
0.12. Okay.
I gave Stinger a 0.13.
That is unfortunate. I totally disagree. But
all right.
Think about it. Stinger, you literally couldn't see anything. This had beautiful things to look at.
I could see the guy with the scorpion leg CGI to his chest at the end.
There's beautiful vistas coming into your eyeballs.
Oh, man.
You can at least enjoy the views that they provided of places that you'll never go.
Yeah, because I don't want to be kidnapped by Somalian.
I'm talking about the place when she's sitting on the cliff contemplating life and writing dark poems.
Oh, okay.
Don't you want to sit on a cliff and write dark poems?
Of course I do.
Yeah. So there we go. Anyways.
But I could have been spending an hour and almost 2 hours of my life planning a trip to go do that, but instead of watching this movie.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it wasn't upsetting that this was 2 hours long and that it that I could have been watching one of the Universal Soldier sequels that I have to watch instead of it. Like that was unfortunate. Yeah. Or like Bridget Jones 2, which I'm like halfway through and I was like, I'm going to finish Bridget Jones 2. And then I was like, oh shit, like I got to watch Submergence. And then I couldn't do Bridget Jones 2, The Edge of Reason.
Dude.
For badmovietwins.com. So anyways, trivia. In the novel, Danielle Flinders is described as mixed race. Oh, little change, because I'm not sure. Is Vikander mixed race?
She is Swedish.
Right, just Swedish. That's just Swedish.
I don't know. I didn't look too much into it.
Doesn't McAvoy stroke her face and tell her all the different nationalities he sees in her face?
He does do that.
I can't remember what
he says. She just has a hint of Swedish in her.
Yeah, English and Swedish and something else.
Yeah. All right. So now that it's closer to the book.
So anyways, she was
a 7.
She was half Martinique and half Australian in the book.
What is Martinique? I don't even know what that is.
It's a country.
Oh, all right.
What's the name of the country?
Martinique.
Is it like San Martin or something like that?
I don't know. So this is the third time McAvoy played a soldier in something. Atonement was another one, and Band of Brothers.
Ooh.
And the third time Vikander played something that was ocean-centric. Tulip Fever and The Light Between Oceans.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So now getting back to where I'm totally wrong about this film, it got absolutely roasted in reviews.
Yeah, it did.
Rotten Tomatoes had it at 21% at this point. Consensus was a slow-moving misfire. I don't disagree with that. Submergence isn't as deep as it thinks it is. Probably true. But still manages to drown its stars in a drama whose admirable ambitions remain almost entirely unfulfilled. I mean, that's not inaccurate. But then again, when you think about 21%, that's 2 out of 10. That's pretty close to 2.5 out of 12.
Don't try to justify it.
I'm just saying. Anyways, the knot tile is a manned submersible. That's the one that was used in this film, designed for observation and intervention at depths up to 6,000 meters.
Wow.
Since it was commissioned in 1984, more than 1,800 dives have been performed from oceanographic vessels like the Nadir, the Atalante, which is the one we saw in the film, or the Pourquoi-Pas.
Can you say that one again?
Pourquoi-Pas.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's not perfect. That was terrible. But James McAvoy starred in multiple X-Men films with Michael Fassbender. Do you know who Michael Fassbender is married to?
Is it Vikander?
Yes.
No.
Alicia Vikander. Yes, married last year. Not sure why they don't mention that X-Men film features a submarine as well.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Brom, those are like your favorite movies, right?
X-Men First Class. Magneto raises that submarine straight out of that ocean.
I like the original trio. The new ones are okay too, but X2 is my favorite.
Yeah, X2 is, I think, maybe the best. I used to say it was like the best sequel to a film that wasn't itself necessarily great. Like, I thought the X2 was great, whereas X-Men, the first one, I thought was just okay. As like the best sequel to something that was just okay.
Yeah, it might be my favorite comic book movie. It's a good one.
Yeah. I actually would agree with that. I think X2 is my favorite comic book movie too.
I don't know if I've ever seen it.
Really? X2 is really good.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
Check
very,
it out.
very good.
You can watch it standalone too.
All right.
All right. So, everyone, you know, this is obviously a romance for the ages. So, which other romances for the ages, which pairs from romances in the ages would have done well in this film? Okay. You ready for this, guys?
Dude, I'm ready.
Ready? Okay. Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal from When Harry Met Sally.
Billy Crystal is like the secret agent.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
You got it?
No.
You
Can't imagine Billy Crystal running on the beach and being like, "Oh, I love that guy."
That's true. Him running on the beach and then being like, "Hey, what's up?" and then being like, "Let's bang." Probably not necessarily happening.
You could put like an inner space spin on it with Meg Ryan returning for that sort of same role.
Sure, maybe.
All right.
Put a little
What about Meg
spin.
Ryan? What about Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks from You've Got Mail, which I believe is the only film they had together, right?
Oh,
Put a little Captain Phillips spin on it with.
We you know what? We could probably cut this movie together.
Yeah.
She's probably a scientist in something, right?
Yes.
And then we can cut it together from those 3 films.
Yeah.
Movie where I think in IQ, that one that was about Einstein with Walter Matthau. I think she may have been a scientist in that. Her dad's Einstein.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having to make a movie with Inner Space, Captain Phillips, and Submergence, and you have to pull 40 minutes from all 3 movies and make a coherent movie?
Yeah, I can't imagine it because we're doing it.
Yeah. No, that sounds like a great project.
Okay. What about Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid from Inner Space?
Duh. Yeah. Come on. Get it together
I think that would actually work.
That's probably the best one so far.
What about Meg Ryan and Russell Crowe from Proof of Life?
Oh, Russell.
Yeah. Get some Russell. I'm talking Slim Russell.
What's your theme again? And why is it all Meg Ryan?
It's romances for the ages. What about Meg Ryan and Nick Cage from City of Angels?
Oh God. Yeah. Oh, dude, if Nick Cage was in this,
100%.
He would have saved it.
He wouldn't have had to run down the beach.
Yeah.
He just would have sat there.
He would have been just sitting at the bar,
Japanese scotch,
smoking.
Like, what up?
And he just screams at her or just stares at her and walks over.
Got his like dinosaur skull or whatever he called.
Yeah.
He's like, "Welcome to my castle. I actually own this place. Get out of here."
Yeah. She'd be like, "What?"
My family's been coming here since I was a child. You own this place?
Yeah. And he also is the financier of the whole submersible operation.
Probably. Just never met him.
My gosh.
What about Meg Ryan and Ed Harris? Now, little known fact, they starred together in a film. It was called Slippery Slopes. So Ed Harris plays the foreman of a grease manufacturer, and Meg Ryan plays the uptight lawyer sent from corporate to get the factory profitable again, right? Interestingly, No, at no point in the film does he rip his shirt off and actually get grease spilled on him. In this case, he rips his shirt off and they spill yogurt on him, and it did not go over well with audiences. It was a massive box office flop.
Wow.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want that one.
Yeah, I think that's right. Ed Harris, just like stringy old man, like abs and muscles running down that beach. And
this is filmed like last year, right?
Well, this is filmed whenever.
Oh, okay.
Whenever you want. I'm saying my version of it in my mind.
Oh, yeah.
So Meg Ryan from Sleepless in Seattle, Ed Harris from Today.
Great.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Love you, Ed.
Please come on the podcast for the love of God.
Yeah, I need you.
All right, so Phantom Zone, real quick. This is an easy one.
Engage the Phantom.
Phantoms engaged, sir.
As noted, McAvoy was also in X-Men First Class, where Magneto lifts a submarine out of the water. James Fleming is in that as Azazel. I'm not sure who that is.
Azazel.
Azazel. And we've used him. What a nerd. Oh, what a fucking nerd. And we've
He's
used
like
him before.
the red Nightcrawler. He's like a demon.
Okay, well, there we go. Jason Fleming plays Red Nightcrawler, and we've used him before as because he's in Below, starring Johnny Depp, and of course that features one of the main actors from Pearl Harbor, Matt Davies or something like that, and that features Billy Fichtner, our boy.
Really?
Our boy. What's going to be funny is when we end up watching Pearl Harbor, and it turns out that a submarine's actually not seen in the film at all.
Oh, man, that'd be...
I'd have to go back and edit all of these podcasts, and we have to re-release them. Jesus.
Dude, that's on you. You do that.
No, well.
All right. It's time for a little Subs Worldwide. It's Subs Worldwide. Alicia Vikander, or Alicia Vikander. I don't know how you say it. But...
Well, what about Alicia Vikander?
Oh, shoot. You're right.
Yeah.
So many options.
Mm-hmm.
She is from Sweden. So I
That's true.
figured, what the heck, man? We haven't done a Swedish sub yet, which is unsettling because we've had so many dull films.
That's true.
Mhm.
It's a mistake, an oversight by you.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So I went with the Swedish Gotland Class.
Gotland?
Gotland.
Like a Gotland gun?
Like Gotland.
Gotland gun. Okay.
Yeah, you do whatever. You do you over there. So when commissioned in the late 90s, these submarines were the first ever to have a modern air independent propulsion system, also known as AIP or APE.
I've never heard of that actually. We've done this podcast for 49 episodes, and I don't think I've ever heard that.
No,
maybe I have, but
you have not, because I haven't done the Swedish ones.
Okay.
This system is able to run almost silently.
Like a Caterpillar
slick.
drive.
Say it isn't so. With the system, this does extend the underwater endurance of this diesel-electric submarine from days to weeks. Pretty
To months,
slick.
to years, to decades.
Yes. Sub returned after 30 years underwater. You'd be like, what?
They have several children. They actually turned out they started to reproduce asexually. They just have spawn,
Their
spores.
budding.
Yeah, spores have fallen off their bodies.
So this previously having the weeks-long thing was only able to be done with nuclear power. However, they discovered a way to do it. This submarine also has a highly automated system that allows a single member of the crew to steer the boat in both depth and speed, which is important because this allows for smaller crews. And additionally, all the machinery is mounted on rubber dampeners, which helps reduce noise and vibrations, which also helps the class be known for being extremely quiet. Also has great shock resistance in case you try to electrocute it,
Yeah.
animals, and has a great combat system. It's designed mainly for anti-ship, anti-sub warfare.
It sounds like this is almost like an advertisement for the submarine.
I know, right?
You're reading the advertisement from the Swedish government.
Yeah, dude, you should have read the article I was reading. It was so funny. This great system was invented by this is an exceptional system invented by But
effusive praise.
What else? What was I saying? It's designed for anti-ship, anti-sub warfare, intelligence gathering, electronic signal intelligence, forward surveillance, spec ops, and mine laying. let's get into some of the specs on this thing. It is only 198.25 feet long.
Yeah, it's pretty small, but not super small.
Not super small.
Right.
Bigger than my boat.
Right. Bigger than the Wetfloater, too.
Ooh, yes, it is. It's funny. My wife was like, why is it called the Wetfloater?
Because it's wet and it floats.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. What are you talking about? So anyway, for speed, on the surface, it can travel at 11 knots. Submerged, 20 knots. And while it's running on the AIP, 5 knots. Has 2 diesel-electric motors and 2 Cockham's AIP units.
Whoa.
Yes.
Scandalous.
It is quite scandalous. The crew consists of 25 submariners.
Wow.
It's pretty small.
That would be good for us if you think about it. Like, because we don't have to get too many more crew on top of like the regular set.
Right. See, we could be the officers.
Right.
And then the rest are just,
riff-raff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Can we separate the crew from... we want to be separated from the riff-raff, so can it be like the boat from...
Black Sea?
Sea.
No, not Blackwater.
Blackwater, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Good.
But we're not giving them any cards to get up front.
And we're definitely going to incorporate the engine and torpedo room into our part of it. They can stay on their side and then man those stations when needed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also, if we shut a door, it'll stay shut.
Yeah. Let's be clear about that, guys.
All right, so for weapons, it has 4 533 millimeter torpedo tubes. Additionally, 2 400 millimeter torpedo tubes. Why the difference? I don't know. You think you'd only want to store one type of torpedoes?
You think, yeah.
But whatever. It can hold 12 torpedoes, and it has 48 externally mounted mines.
Huh.
Kind of nifty.
Does seem like a mine layer.
Yeah.
So.
Just pop one off. These things are actually quite well known for performing quite well in war game scenarios.
Oh yeah, wasn't there an article about them defeating like an American sub or a Soviet sub or something like that in war games?
They have quote unquote. So when I say sunk, I'm not meaning actually sunk.
Right, yeah.
These are just war games. So they have essentially like would have got the kill if it was real time scenario. They've sunk Spanish warships. The SSN USS Houston.
Yeah, I think I read an article about that.
And in 2004, a Gotland class was actually commissioned by the United States to participate in war games because the U.S. wanted to practice anti-sub warfare versus diesel electrics. And U.S. is quite often criticized for our ability to combat them. And the Gotland class was successful in sinking the USS Ronald Reagan by snapping a photo of it and being completely undetected.
Yeah, I think it was, I feel like I was reading that when we first started this podcast and we started to understand the difference between like nuclear and diesel electric. Yeah. And I was reading about, diesel electric and how they kind of went away and it came back and stuff like that. And that was the example given of like the utility. And we saw that in down Periscope as well, right?
Right, because they can run completely silent.
Yeah.
With the nuclear, I mean, you can stay underwater.
Nuclear is very fast, but the diesel electric can be very quiet.
Yeah, and deadly.
When needed, yeah.
So there's 3 that are in service. 2 of the 3 of them are being upgraded so they can remain effective. I think it was up to 2025. And Sweden will be buying 2 new stealth submarines, is what they called, which will be the A-26 class.
Opening up for Stealth 2 submarine warfare.
Oh, yes. All right. That's it for Subs Worldwide.
Tube 3 ready to fire, sir.
Commence the countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Give it to me.
What up, boys?
Oh, what's up?
Relevant.
So,
it's been a minute.
It has been a minute. Again, I am not claiming that is my personal saying. That is our friend from BitConnect. You can check it out on YouTube. But my top 5 countdown tonight, we are counting down, and this is from the top 10, so this is user voted. And the votes are in for the top 5 movies to fall asleep to.
Oh, getting a dig in even in your top 10.
Yeah, man.
And I do not agree with a lot of these. I agree with quite a few, and this one, it's got some controversial ones. So let me know what you guys think. Number 5, The Godfather.
Oh, come on. Godfather's great.
Not to be
Never seen
completely
it.
sexist,
Kyle's
but
I have never seen
Kyle's
it.
about to say he's never seen it. I knew it.
I've never seen it as well. But I assume
it's great.
I know. I want to see it. I need to see it. It's a classic. I get it. I assume there's probably a lot of, and not to be sexist, but there's probably a lot of wives having to grin and bear it through.
Okay, that is very sexist. I think it's also generally yes, it's very long. It's many different kind of stories melded together. There's a whole scene, a whole portion of it where he goes off to Corleone. He goes off to live in Italy because of a murder, so he lives there for a while, and things like that where you could feel like it drags on a little bit.
How long is it?
It's like 3 hours long.
That's nothing, man.
Oh.
Watch Das Boot.
Some people think it's long. I think it's great. I if it's on TV, I usually stick around and watch large portions of it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Number 4. This is one I have fallen asleep to, so I'd have to give it a vote up. King Kong, the 2005 film.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, with Jack Black?
That movie is, yep. That one is Jack Black's the first person that everyone always remembers from that movie.
Who else is like Adrian Brody, Kyle Chandler,
Yep.
Jack Black. Who's the leading lady in that one?
I forget.
Naomi Watts.
I was going to say Naomi Watts.
Is it?
Yeah, I believe
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that one, that's just such a long movie. Once they get to New York, it just always knocks me out.
Yeah, it's interesting too because it's a very faithful adaptation, except with a lot of stuff kind of packed into it. Because the original movie is not particularly long. I mean, it was back in the day. It's not like that's dragging on for 2 hours. I think it was a 80-minute film or something like that.
Yeah, I guess.
But
while I enjoy that movie, it is very long.
Yeah, I think the thing is what they did is that they basically kept the entire storyline, but then added in all these like crazy computer graphic-y type stuff that took up a lot of time. Anyways.
Number 3, I wholeheartedly disagree with. I own the 4-hour extended version. This is one of my favorite movies.
I know what you're going to say.
You want to take it away?
Is it Lord of the Rings?
It is. Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King.
I also own that extended version, and that extended version is great.
Oh,
so
man,
good.
yeah. Those are just phenomenal
One of
movies.
the comments, saw the first 2 Lord of the Ring movies in theaters and fell asleep soundly both times. I told my husband to go to the third without me. I will never watch these movies.
So my wife had never seen these, and that blew my mind. And so in college, I also own all the extended versions. I made her sit down in one day and watch every single one of them with me. 12 hours later.
Yep.
I don't think she really appreciates them, probably because of the watch party I put her through with it.
I've been there too. I introduced some people and did the watch parties with Lord of the Rings, and it is a haul, but I've never had to fall asleep in the middle of it.
Where did you get this list? This list sounds terrible so far.
This is
fakestuff.com.
Fakenews.com. No, it's the top 10s. It's a place where you get a topic and you vote for your answers, and then they compile all the user data and it spits it out. So I definitely disagreed with number 3. We get back on track here a little bit. Number 2, Titanic.
No, Titanic is, I mean, okay. Fine.
The first comment here, it takes nearly an hour and a half for the ship to start sinking.
Yeah. Okay. What, do they want the Titanic to sink the entire movie?
I guess.
Definitely, man. See those rats running around the ship like the whole time?
I'm actually surprised it's only an hour and a half in, considering that means it sunk for an hour and a half. Because it's a 3-hour film. So,
Yeah. Dang.
yeah. It's a long time sinking.
Yeah. Number 1, though, Gone with the Wind, 220 minutes long.
I can agree with that. You can't really watch that in one go, really.
No, you
No.
can't.
It's like how I watch Gods and Generals. Okay, that first of all, Gods and Generals is number 1.
Get on there and vote, man. Let your
need to.
voice be heard.
Gods and Generals is not only offensive and like upsetting to watch. It is a love story to a thing called The Lost Cause, which is a racist explanation for why the Civil War occurred, where they say it's actually not about slavery, it was about states' rights and shit. But it's very supportive of this theory of what Civil War is all about, and it runs for straight up 2 hours and 280 minutes,
Oh,
so almost 5 hours.
get on there and vote it up, man.
And it is rough, and you can't really. That one's. I don't think you can watch that in one day. First time I did, I nearly had a mental breakdown watching it for like when I watched it one day.
What is the purpose of my life?
Right,
What
yeah.
am I doing?
I lived, died, and then lived and died again while
We could
watching
do
the film.
an entire podcast series on that movie. We could do like a whole season.
Yeah, that's true. It's 5. It's technically, yeah. It's basically a TV show, but they made it a movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I would say the same thing about Gone with the Wind. Like, I don't think anymore you could really sit down and just be like, I'm going to watch Gone with the Wind. You kind of have to do it in 2 parts.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of these films, they kind of are split into parts anyways. Yeah, I think there's probably even an intermission in that film. So,
Oh,
watch it
well,
as
there
2.
you go.
Watch it as 2. That's the solution. You don't fall asleep if you watch it as 2 films.
Real quick, here's some honorable mentions. Twilight, Avatar, Inglourious Bastards.
What? Okay, Inglourious Bastards, get the fuck out of here. That
2001,
movie's great.
2001 A Space Odyssey, There Will Be Blood.
Oh my God, There Will Be Blood. Okay, 2001: A Space Odyssey. I can endure that slander for one of the greatest films ever made, but There Will Be Blood. That's a modern masterpiece. Like what?
A lot of these are good movies. It's I think maybe you get subjected to having to watch it with your spouse, and then that person that didn't enjoy it in that relationship comes on here and votes it up.
Let's not get back. Let's not dive back into the
I'm
sexist
just
thing.
saying, it's a battle of the sexes here.
said spouse.
Twilight. Come on, that's all guys voting that out.
That's true.
That's very
Good
true.
call. Good call. I now agree with you.
Also got The Green Mile on here, Road to Perdition. So yeah, there's a lot of good movies. The Big Fish.
That sounds like people who just don't like Tom Hanks. Green Mile and Road to Perdition.
Well,
His face is
those
so
people are
boring.
just
I fell
wrong.
asleep. Ugh.
Castaway.
Thin Red Line. Was that Tom Hanks too? Or I'm thinking Band of Brothers, right?
All right, is Thin Red Line? Oh man, that's the one? It's like a World War II movie, but in the
Yes.
Pacific.
Yes. By the same director.
Oh, it came out the same year Saving Private Ryan did.
Yeah, it's by Malik, the director Malik.
I can
And you
see.
would think that movie was made like 30 years earlier. Saving Private Ryan is so much better than that movie. It's unreal.
I
Another
can
Tom
see
Hanks film.
Jamie getting
Yeah.
offended by this one as well. Lincoln.
Oh, I liked Lincoln. I wouldn't necessarily say it's for everyone, but the thing I would say about some of these films is like, if you sit down to watch Lincoln and you're not like a fan of Lincoln, then yeah, you're gonna fucking fall asleep. Why did you start watching Lincoln?
Yeah. Yeah.
You did it to yourself. Like, why do you then get upset about falling asleep during it?
All these are very lengthy movies.
The only
And
one I would
and
agree with is
I'll,
King Kong actually does make a little bit of sense because it's
Yeah.
like when you go in to watch something like King Kong, you don't necessarily anticipate it being so long, and so you get to be like, oh, I came out of that like not happy that I whatever.
Yeah.
I'll
But-
conclude with this. You've Got Mail and Forrest Gump also made the top 35 here, so there is a lot of Tom Hanks hate.
Wow,
Dang, dude.
Wait, isn't he like America's sweetheart?
He's got to be.
No, that was Captain Zeta-Jones. And
That was actually, I think that was
come
Meg
on.
Ryan.
Chris Brown.
Oh, great.
Self-proclaimed. That's not me saying that. That's a joke. He said it at the awards show like within a year after beating up Rihanna, so he's a piece of
Great.
shit.
Wow.
Yeah,
Tom
let's
Hanks was even in a Carly Rae Jepsen music video, man. How could people hate this guy?
That's right.
He made Thomas Crown, a beloved film that everyone likes.
Is that the one where he's riding a scooter or something?
Uh-huh.
Or maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe now I'm doubt is
He
setting in.
made The Circle. Everyone liked that one.
Oh, yeah. Atlas Shrugged or something, right? Didn't he do that too?
No, it wasn't Atlas Shrugged. Atlas
Cloud
Shrugged.
Atlas.
Talking about that's another one that should be on
That's
that
the
list.
one. That's
Atlas
the
Shrugged
one.
should definitely be on that list. That movie, I watched all 3 parts of that film for badmovietwins.com. That's badmovietwins.com. And god dang, those Atlas Shrugged films are terrible.
All right, guys, that is the top 5 movies to fall asleep to.
Everybody get on there and change those votes. That's crazy.
Submergence number 1.
Yeah, vote it up.
Or shoot us an email. Let us know what you think should be on the list.
Yeah.
Yes, again, it is Mac East Second Floor Studios at gmail.com, and second is 2, the number, ND.
None of that makes sense. Right? None of that makes sense. Thanks for listening to Submersion. Find us on SoundCloud and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Can't get enough of us? Don't forget to subscribe for new episodes every Thursday. And if you like what you heard, please go ahead and give us a rating.